You know what time of year it is? It's time for clickbait videos hyping up RWBY Volume 7 for AdSense. I'm tired. Music is one of the core tenets of why people love RWBY. Each soundtrack helps to flesh out the core themes and storylines of the series, especially when there isn't enough time to dedicate to every single minute detail. And so today we're going to be discussing 6 song ideas, the last one I came up with at the last minute, that I have for RWBY Volume 7. Now I'm sure whatever Jeff and Casey come up with, or have already come up with, is sure to astound as always, but I thought this still might be a fun little video to make before the gates of hell are opened wide. Not that they weren't after the recent Blake chapter of the DC Comics, where people actually sympathized with an abuser and claimed that his much younger abuse victim was to blame, and also even debated pedophilia. But, let's just say believe people when they show you their true colors.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Anyways, keeping things on a lighter note that makes me want to die just a little bit less, let's delve into the 6 song ideas I have for RWBY Volume 7. I wish there were 7, but I only have 6, I'm sorry.
Yes! 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 I got 2 free tacos!
I just want to be happy.
Each intro of RWBY serves to encapsulate the main theme and story of its respective volume, whether it was the triumph of Volume 5, the overcoming of grief of Volume 4, or the oh shit we're all gonna die reaction all of us had to Volume 3. Volume 7 has been described as a volume of uncertainty, where our characters will be unsure of who to trust, that those they look to for guidance may not be the people they should be listening to, while those they may be apprehensive about approaching actually turn out to be quite helpful. And given the Anima arc was largely about the heroes overcoming their demons and finding victory in a dark and unforgiving world, it is time for the darkness of Volume 3 to return. There's also the fact that we have always focused on the idea that raw strength and power will never be able to deliver true victory when it comes to the Elysian military. Ironwood in particular is hyper-focused on displays of strength, so much so that their own robots were hacked and contributed to much of the chaos during the fall of Beacon. With that, I think it is very likely we're going to be getting a dark, foreboding intro similar to When It Falls. Maybe not quite on the same level, by which I mean darkness and death, but a song that might explore what the Bridge of Time to Say Goodbye touched upon, that our heroes are wondering if they are really doing the right thing, or if they're just the unwitting pawns for someone else's agenda.
There will be no victory in strength.
Yes, I know, I want Blake to finally get a solo song too, but after Amity Arena described Blake and Weiss as 2 sides of the same coin, and given all of the parallels of their stories up until this point, not to mention the fact that they are bound to have the most interesting stories in Atlas, well, what better time for a black and white duet than now? At first glance, Weiss and Blake have always been opposites. Weiss was born into luxury and immense wealth, breaking free of that to find her own path, while Blake has always fought for the rights of the faunus, struggling to figure out what path would bring true equality. But upon closer inspection, you can see that they both dealt with abuse, Weiss at the hands of her family, particularly her father, and Blake at the hands of Adam. And so, with Weiss either taking back the Schnee Dust Company or literally destroying it to form a new beginning for the Schnee legacy, and Blake set to take back the White Fang and the heartland of faunus oppression, now is the perfect time to show that these two will work in tandem to forge a new beginning not just for themselves, but for the whole world.
Checkmate!
Given Yang and Blake seem to be on the path towards a romantic relationship, and that both of them fill the roles of both Beauty and the Beast, Adam is in fact Gaston and the Cursed Rose deal with a Gaston apologists, it's only natural that we get an obligatory love song for these two. The reason I referenced that signature song from Beauty and the Beast, however, is not only because of their relation to that specific fairy tale, but also the fact that if there ever were to be a ball for Jeff and Casey to bust out their twist on a classic love song, this would be it. Just imagine it. Blake and Yang have spent the volume talking about their feelings and what they've been through, sorting out their problems that they couldn't deal with in Volume 6 because it took place in like 5 days, and Team RWBY gets invited to a special gala up in Atlas, maybe hosted by the STC, but Blake either isn't allowed in or is harassed because, faunus racism, and it's there that Yang either tells the racist to fuck off as she and Blake dance, or the team goes to enjoy themselves elsewhere away from the stuck-up assholes. Oh, it's perfect.
And if you feel like coming out tomorrow, I'll save you a dance.
We all know Cinder has not been the most engaging villain. Her biggest issue is the fact that without her motivations, or rather the reason for her motivations of wanting power, we don't know what her drive is, and especially after how she was handled in Volume 5, it basically killed her value as a threatening antagonist.
You stupid, yes, I deserve this!
But Jeremy has had an idea as to why they've been waiting to reveal her past. Because she is actually from Atlas. If Cinder was born in Atlas, surrounded by elitist pricks looking down upon her, it could possibly explain why she is so driven to be more powerful than anyone else, why she's so hungry to escape being perceived as weak. It might even explain why she gave herself the last name Fall, if Raven's roast proved true. It wasn't because she wanted to go after the Fall Maiden's powers specifically, it was her desire to see Atlas fall out of the fucking sky, along with every single person who'd driven her to become the monster she is now. So if that is indeed the route we are going down, I would be all down for a villain song which touches on Cinder's motivation as she clawed her way to power. Yes, please, make her more interesting. God, please.
Someone once asked me if I believed in destiny, and I'm happy to say, I still do.
A few moments later.
Now, this one I'm not too sure on, but given that we seem to need an obligatory kick-ass song every volume, why not go for a military spin this time around with a song all about Ironwood and his stupid army?
When they look to the sky and see my fleet, our enemies will feel our strength.
You think they're scared of your little ships?
More than likely, this would wind up as a Jeff solo song, or maybe Casey could join in to voice Winter or some other characters. But I think a fun song that has some very dark, questionable undertones about the military's obsession of garnering power and remaining authoritarian and unchallenged could be a nice addition to the soundtrack. Maybe even use that leitmotif for whenever the Elysian military pops up, because good lord, it is among my favorites. And at long last, here we are. RWBY has not had that many songs to herself compared to the other characters. The only true themes she's had are Red Like Roses Part 2 and Indomitable, though you could argue that theme songs like Triumph and Rising could maybe also apply to her along with the other characters. So now that Maria is officially RWBY's mentor, perhaps we'll get a Silver-Eyed duet similar to Red Like Roses Part 2, but specifically about Maria getting back into the fray and helping RWBY take on Salem. Really, I would probably do anything to get a combination of RWBY and Maria's themes in an actual song, please. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's rather short video, then be sure to check out my other videos, RWBY and otherwise, and to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications because YouTube hates creators, especially to keep up with my RWBY Volume 7 content, as I will be doing reaction videos the Saturday after they premiere, so whenever they are released to the public, and the following day I will be trying to release mini reviews of each episode. Also, if you are able to, then please consider supporting me over on Patreon, as I am currently saving up for publishing costs, and any kind of support is incredibly appreciated. I'm the Unicorn of War, also known as the Union of War among my enemies, which I unironically love, like holy shit, that's lit, and this has been a shit show.
was honestly expecting things to go a lot rougher.
I just want to be happy.